What if all of your fears, all of your trauma was an illusion? Would you still be afraid? You see, we're so afraid to look our fear in the eyes, to go into our darkness, to explore our pain and feel it, because we're afraid that if we really looked, we would find out that our biggest fears are true, that we really are broken, that we really are unworthy, that we really are not enough. But what if I told you with complete certainty that every single negative thought you've ever had about yourself is a lie? How would that change the way that you think, the way you feel, the way that you show up in the world, and how you interact with other people? Because I can tell you right now that every single trauma that I've had, every trauma that my clients have had, and every trauma that you've had are illusory. The experience that you went through was real, but the story that your mind created about it, that story is not real. As Gabor Mate puts it, he says, trauma is not about what happens to you, it's what happened inside you as a result of what happened to you. Meaning, trauma is not about what happened, but the false interpretation of it that you became identified with. It is the moment that you believed, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, I don't matter. And that belief got lodged in your subconscious like a faulty line of code, repeating itself on loop for years. And the unprocessed emotions stayed stuck in your body, getting reinforced because of that negative belief. But the thing is, you were never broken, you were never unworthy, and you were never even separate. The truth is, most people are so identified with their ego, they are so attached to their story, they think they are their pain. They think they are their past. They think they are their thoughts. But you are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not your trauma. You are not the labels that somebody else put upon you because they didn't know how to love and accept you properly. You are not the story that you keep reinforcing to yourself, and it is a story that hurts. It is the identification with who you are or who you think you are that causes your suffering. But what if all of it is just a false identity? What if it was never real, just a false narrative? Because when you really peel back all the layers, you realize that not only was the interpretation of your childhood false, but the you that you thought that you were, and you believed that you had been all along, was never who you actually were. So then, who are you? And when you answer this question of who am I, you realize that you are divine consciousness. You are source having a human experience. You are the eternal, formless being that was never born and that can never die. People have different words for this eternal, infinite being. Some call it God. Others call it source, divine consciousness. Whatever word you want to use, you are that. Just pure consciousness, witnessing and experiencing life. And when you see that, when you really see it, not just intellectually, but through direct experience, you realize that everything that has unfolded was perfect exactly as it is. Everything has to be perfect as it is because it is divine unfolding. Everything, even the pain that you experience, all of the trauma, all of it. And so I look back at my life at the times that I was beaten and hurt and abused, and the times that I tried to end my life. And all I see now is beauty. There was so much beauty in my pain and my sadness. That pain was sacred. And I say that with so much love and so much compassion, not because I don't understand how painful it was, because it was excruciating. It was really painful. It was the hardest thing that I have ever gone through. I have attempted suicide many times in my life, and I have felt extremely isolated and lonely. I've almost starved myself to death from eating disorders. And if you want to see, I have cuts and burns all over my arms from self-harm. And so I know what it is to suffer. And it was precisely that suffering that made my ego die. It killed off the identity that I held so tightly to. And so like the Buddha says, you suffer into truth. And that is exactly what happened to me. I suffered over and over and over again until I remembered who I really am. So be grateful for your suffering. Because suffering cracks open the character that you're playing until you realize that you are not that character. What you really are is divine. It's holy, it's whole and complete. So not only are you not broken, you are the source of everything that you seek. Love, connection, abundance, safety. You are everything that you've spent your entire life looking for all along. You are your own salvation. You are your own source. And it is honestly such a beautiful realization. And when it hits you, it's so profound. It's so profound. It's just peace and awe and wonder and lightness. And the weight just gets lifted off of you. And you realize how blessed you are to even be having this experience, to be alive at all, to experience the suffering, to experience the transformation, the ups and the downs, the love, the loss, the grief, all of it. It's the miracle of being. It is nothing short of magical. If you think about it, it's a miracle that you're here. Life will break you just to show you that you can't be broken. And what you are left with after that is freedom. Freedom from yourself. And in that freedom, you can experience the pure love of being. Now, this process didn't happen for me overnight. It's taken me over a decade of trial and error. I've tried many traditional and non-traditional methods to heal from trauma. But the core approach that I have found to be effective is integration work and slowly disidentifying with the trauma identity and the mind. The tools that I use and I recommend are shadow work, inner child healing, meditation, journaling, questioning your beliefs and rewiring your beliefs. All of the above have helped me and allowed me to release a lot of my trauma, and eventually it got me to a point where I was ready to have my spiritual awakening and my ego death. And ultimately, the ego is the root of our suffering. It holds on to preferences and stories and fears and beliefs, which is how it creates that suffering. So I believe that in order to really transcend trauma and suffering completely and to really experience freedom beyond suffering, working with the ego is an imperative. It is necessary. This isn't something that they teach you in therapy, which is why people get stuck in therapy for many years with no progress. I was in therapy for 6 years and was not able to overcome my trauma. Very few people, I think, know how to overcome trauma. A lot of treatments don't work, and I know that treatment for trauma is super expensive, and that cost is a massive impediment for a lot of people that is keeping them stuck. And so I created a community that you could join for just $22 a month. It's super affordable, and you get weekly live group calls. You can ask me any questions that you want and get advice and just be supported in a community. And so if you feel like this is something that speaks to you and that you want to join, the link to that is down below. I also do work one-on-one with clients. So if you prefer a more private setting, then the link to book a private session is down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.